Alright, so this is going to be a little bit of a rant. There isn't really a set way I'm going to explain this. We are, as of right now, nearing the end of the open crossplay beta for The Descendant. I've unlocked only like 5 of the characters, and of those 5, I've only really played 3. So you can kind of tell from my limited viewpoint how this review is going to go. I say review. It's more of an unbridled, unkempt rant about my thoughts and feelings about this game as I play it. Now, there are certain things about the First Descendant that could lure you in. One of them being the different characters, you know, having a class-based looter shooter like this. It's not the most unique thing in the world, but it also isn't, like, expected to be. Like, was I disappointed when I found out it was class-based? No. And in terms of the classes themselves, there's a lot here to, like, get interested in. Sure, Ajax may just be your average big tank man with portable shields and stuff like that, but then you have something like Glay, where she can at will change from being a kind of DR mid-range / like tank light to a powerhouse damage dealer with the press of a button, and then all of her abilities having different effects based on which mode she's in. This is kind of what we're getting at. These is like, some of these characters are going to be simple, some of them are going to be more complex. All of the gameplay loops are, at least the ones I've played, fun. If you couple that within the context of a looter shooter, you get something pretty unique. Yes, Borderlands had something similar, but it didn't have the same scale. The only thing that you could really liken this to is Warframe. And even then, I have to say, it's still not quite exactly the same. I believe Warframe did it better, but that's mainly because they've been doing it for about 10 years now. So they're going to have way more experience doing this than Nexon. Another thing to add is that this game, it takes a lot of inspiration from other looter shooters, and inspiration is putting it very, very gently. It seems that this game is influenced by 2 other large-scale games, that being Destiny 2 and Warframe, both of which I have played. Now, I'm going to be honest with you right here, I have not played as nearly as much Warframe as I have Destiny. I've come to expect a couple things from a looter shooter MMO like I believe this one to be. What I believe this game to be doing is trying to take the best parts of those 2 games and mesh them together. And it's not that that's a bad thing to do, and it's not that there's any immediate drawback. Like, I'm enjoying this game. I would not have leveled up 2 of these Descendants to level 40 if I was not enjoying the game, and if I was not enjoying their gameplay loop, because their gameplay loop genuinely is fun. The problem starts when your game, which has been pulling features and ideas from other games, starts to copy a little too much, and is not giving itself enough originality to be able to stand on its legs. For instance, I could, with just about every subclass, or not subclass, but every Descendant in this game, liken it to another character from either Destiny or Warframe. For instance, Ajax. He is a Void Titan. He is a Bubble Titan. Now, for those of you who don't know, Bubble Titans do exactly what they do, exactly what Ajax does. They create barriers, they drop these massive dome shields that are impenetrable. They are the defensive kings of Destiny 2. Kyle is a Thundercrash Titan. Thundercrash being a super in Destiny 2 where you launch yourself through the air like a missile and headbutt into whatever you're aiming at. Viessa, I think is what her name is, is a stasis hunter with the blizzard and being able to control ice at will. Like there's things that separate them from other characters. There's original ideas here and there, but it's always with the backdrop of there's something else that's connecting it to something else. And here's the thing. They're towing a line where it goes from close enough to other things so that, like, for ease of understanding purposes, and close enough to other things to seem like they're just trying to copy what's working. And it's really tough to tell in certain cases whether or not they kept the characters close enough to other properties so that players would have an easier time transitioning, or whether or not they kept the characters close enough to other ones to retain some sort of marketing appeal. I don't think that it's a lack of original ideas. I do think it is either one of those two things. It is either the new player experience, you know, getting into the game, potentially coming from another game like Destiny or Warframe, and having a way to easily kind of move yourself in with likening one of these descendants to a character that you've probably played. Or it is just copying what works because they know it will make money and it will attract people. How do I know it's not a lack of originality? I will explain that in a little bit later into the video. But if you're looking at the First Descendant and thinking, I don't know if this game's for me, I don't know if I want to commit time to this game. If you enjoy games like Warframe or Destiny 2, or hell, even, I don't want to say Borderlands, because Borderlands gets kind of wild, but just Warframe or Destiny 2, you'll probably enjoy this. I think it's very safe to say you will enjoy the gameplay loop of the First Descendant, because it is a very addicting gameplay loop. Anything where you start a mission to go out and kill things, to upgrade your arsenal so that you can go out and kill more things, is going to be a really good gameplay loop. The problem arises when the context of that gameplay loop is subpar. I'm going to say something that's going to turn you off immediately. The mission that I am doing right now is 90% of the content in this game. A lot of your time is going to be spent doing zone defense or clearing rooms. That is it. There's not even payload-like missions. There's no special other type. It's just guard this zone or take control of this zone, and that's it. And that can get tiring after a while. Fortunately, I am brain dead and I do not have that problem. But to someone with a bit more intellectual prowess, yeah, I could absolutely see how doing zone defense or zone capture for every mission in the campaign up to this point that the beta will allow you to play is point capture or zone defense. As far as the campaign itself goes, as like a story or just as a story, I'm gonna keep it real with you. Story's kind of mid. I don't know who half these people are. The people I do know are the ones who I interact with the most, or the ones whose personalities are the most pronounced. And I'm choosing those words specifically to be very polite. And it's tough to say this because I'm having fun with the game, and I'm not quite sure how to describe why I'm having fun with this game. Because by all accounts, this should be just another Destiny killer. This should be just another game that has lofty ambitions of putting Destiny in the grave, and just like every other Destiny killer, failed miserably. However, there is a potential to do its own thing, and I think if Nexon allows the studio to put this back in the oven for a little bit longer, touch up some of the wider game systems, this could be a game that could potentially stick around for a really long time. And I'll tell you why. As I was saying before, the core gameplay loop is fun, it's engaging. killing things to get better weapons, to kill more things, is always going to be a good gameplay loop, provided you have good things to kill with those guns. And for the most part, the enemies kind of suck. Now, I gotta know that that comes into contrary with what I've been saying like 3 seconds ago, but hear me out. All of the enemies in the missions where you're playing for the campaign, they're basic, but they're not... how do I want to say this? They're basic, but they're not oversimplified. For this area right here, you're going to find a lot of the kind of low-tier enemies because this is the starting location. If I were to go to here, you're going to find a lot more difficult enemies to deal with, and then even more so right over here. So as you move throughout the game, the enemies become more and more challenging, not only because they have increased health bars and level caps and their stats get raised, but also because they'll have specific modifiers or different abilities that will keep you on your toes, fighting tooth and nail to be able to stay alive. And all of that is fine. It works. It's not the most creative, but it's not just it's not like they're just throwing a bunch of enemies into a place and then calling it a day. Like, you can tell there's thought there, it just needs more time in the oven. Which is fair. This is a beta. There's going to be a significant amount of time before this releases, most likely. There's going to be some problems to work out, and I hope they can work them out. For example, audio mixing is really kind of weird. I can shoot something with my SMG here, and it's going to make... I think it's the hit markers. It might be the hit markers, it might be the bullet impact. I'm not quite sure, but it is insanely loud, and there's no way to turn it down. The voice acting for some of the characters is horrendous. I'll show you a clip right now of one of the guys you're going to be speaking to quite a bit, and his voice is just...
Because I know somewhere deep down in my heart, I still love you.
It's so weird because it sounds like he's in auto-tune, but he's walking back and forth from an auto-tuned mic into a mic that's like across the room. It drives me insane because, like, how could they let that slide? But it's also funny, right? It's not something that's going to prevent me from playing the game. It's something I'm going to find humorous, a little bit annoying, but that's it. Because I'm really not hearing him much outside of a mission dialogue here and there. It's not like he is constantly following you around or constantly radioing you to talk your ear off or anything like that. For the most part, while you're just, doing your thing, you are alone out here. There are some balance issues. Clay is probably one of the most busted descendants in the game, and I would not be surprised if she caught a nerf between now and release. She is intensely broken. That is a video for another time though. But there are a couple balance issues. Some things are easier to use than others, some things are stronger and easier to use than others, and shouldn't be. It's all a spectrum of game balance that Nexon really needs to work on, and I'm sure they will. As of right now, the core gameplay loop and the things that are in the game as of literally right this second as I'm recording are enjoyable. They're fun. I can tell that this game is going to need some work, and I can see where the work is going to be done. And as this game gets closer and closer to release, I'm interested in seeing what the developers manage to do for the general gameplay. Like, this part of the game, this is kind of boring. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. This is really boring. There's nothing here. You are alone here. If you're not doing a mission, like you're just out here to walk around, you're not going to come across any enemies like you would in Destiny 2. You're not going to come across any sort of like secrets or hidden things or little Easter eggs or anything. It is like, there's nothing wrong with this. This is gorgeous. It's Unreal 5. It's going to be gorgeous, but like I might as well be playing Death Stranding. It's just a map. Now, here's why I'm still playing, and here's why I'm saying I'm having fun. These are bosses. These are the equivalent of strike bosses You can get materials out in the world by doing specific missions, sort of wave defense missions, which are always fun. Horde mode is always fun. The Horde mode wave defense, that's always just going to be a really good pastime, especially for a game like this, where the build crafting and different character abilities are tight as fuck. Horde modes are always going to be one of the things that keep people playing for as long as they do. Through those Horde modes, you can get access to materials that you can then go refine at these boss battles. We're just going to hop into this one because it's right here. These boss battles are so unreasonably fun. They are some of the best content in the game, and I believe they were even in the game from the alpha. These fuck supremely. Like, it cannot be stated any other way. These just fuck supremely. I know I kind of just walked in and shredded that guy. Like I was saying, Glay's gonna catch a nerf before release, most definitely. But that is, of course, the easiest one. I could go to one of the other ones and have a way harder time and still have fun. I could be getting mollywopped. I could be getting dog-walked. I could have the worst fucking RNG of enemy attack combinations to ever face the earth, and I would still be having fun. Because for some reason in this game, I don't know why, I don't know what's causing this, for some reason, the way these bosses are designed and the way they play, they feel like there is somebody just sitting in the dev room controlling them. Like, they purposefully decide, they pick one person out of the 4 people in this boss battle, and they decide, you know what, I'm gonna fuck you over. You are going to die here and now. And sure, it might feel bad in the moment, but there is a certain point at which you kinda can't deny the comedy of the situation. For instance, this boss right here, she has an attack where she can create a large blizzard around her, which will slowly kill you. She can also just teleport around the arena. I really enjoy a boss who doesn't make it impossible for you to hit them, but doesn't just let you, like, sit there letting you wail away at them for the low cost of your primary ammunition. And like I was saying, this is probably some of the most fun I've had in a game of this ilk in a little while. As someone who's played Destiny for entirely too long, it's refreshing, I think is what it is. It's refreshing for me to have a game that I can just go in and play around with. And we're gonna sit here for a little bit while somebody comes and reses us. But here, this is what I mean when sometimes the boss just decides to fuck you over. But all of these battles, fuck supremely. They are so much fun, so rewarding to take a character, level them up, craft the build for them, level up the weapons, research the boss, figure out, okay, this is what I should be running for this is what I want to bring in with me, I want to have this on standby. This is addicting. And I think they need to take this concept further, because if they can manage to strike a balance between the moment-to-moment gameplay and this, I could see this game sticking around for a little while. So basically what I'm saying is that this game needs a raid. It desperately needs some sort of end game activity that's just another level above what these boss battles can provide. Because while these are enjoyable, you can only do so many of these before you've just done all of them. Another thing that would be really nice, and this is just a little nitpick, is as of right now, there's really only one way to get high-level weapons, and that is by playing the final mission of the campaign over and over again. Because all of the weapon levels are set up to, or the progression for weapon levels are set up to follow you through the campaign. So in the beginning area, you will only ever find things that are like level 1 or level 2. However, in like the final mission, that is where you will find the highest level gear, because that is the last thing you have access to in the demo, or like the beta. Now, I feel like if they were to take a little bit of a more Destiny approach to it, where you have a level that you're working to increase you can basically do anything and still get something that's going to be a higher level, then you kind of alleviate having to do the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over again. As of right now, this game is facing the same issues as Year 1 Destiny 1. Now, what's interesting is Year 1 Destiny 1 has already happened. Nexon has a perfect template, a perfect way to know what to do to avoid this game dying. It's only a matter of if they actually do it, and if they can recognize that the situation they're in as of right now is not one that is terribly far off from the one that Destiny was in not 7 years ago. As far as microtransactions go with Nexon, they tend to be inserted after a game is released. As of right now, they're not insanely predatory, but I can't expect it to stay the same, and I don't think you should expect it to stay the same either. There are a bunch of things in this game that are liable to change, and for some of them I hope they do. I genuinely hope they do change. I hope they recognize what needs to be done for this game. I hope they can fix some of the issues, some of the just kind of weird beta issues, and I believe they can do it. It's just whether or not they can recognize what the problem is before they launch it. But in terms of like just general moment-to-moment gameplay, it's fun. I'm enjoying it. Is it incredibly complicated and deep? No. Is it the most complex? No. In fact, I feel it could be simplified a little bit. As far as the different weapons, their stats, what you can do to make your build. Once you understand what you want to be doing with a character, it's not hard to do. It's just how long is it going to take you to realize what you want to be building your character for, and then how long do you want to sit in menus reading, because there is a fair bit of reading that comes into crafting builds in this game. Now, that wouldn't be a terrible thing if the text was proofread before they shipped it. Some of the things in this game just straight up don't make sense. There's some weird grammar, a couple mistranslations, some typos here and there. Like, it's all stuff that could be fixed before release. It's just how many percentages and multipliers and times 5% or plus 0.33 do you want to have to look through before you're ready to play the game? Now, if you enjoy build crafting like that, if you enjoy sitting down, taking the time to create something, run through the spreadsheets, do the calculations, there's nothing wrong with that. I enjoy that. I do enjoy doing that. But I can also recognize that I sat in menus reading mod effects for like 30 minutes making this build. And I can see that not everyone is going to enjoy that. So if you are, I would say keep an eye out. The game probably is going to be free, I think. I'm not confident, just because I really didn't hear anything about this game before this beta, and now it's captured me and won't let go. If you want, there's nothing stopping you from trying it out, except a release date, obviously. But like once the game releases, there will be nothing to stop you from trying out. I recommend, as I always will, that you try out a free game. At the very least, you don't like the game, you uninstall it, and you never play it again. At the absolute most, you sit high and mighty on your throne of like 10,000 hours in this game. So, thank you for watching. I know this has kind of been a kind of staggered and disjointed rant, but I only really had today to record this, and I didn't want to write. I'm gonna keep it real. I didn't want to write. I sound so stilted. It's really annoying. I kind of wanted to just turn on the camera and start recording and just fucking talk and play the game, because it is genuinely a fun game. I'm enjoying it. It's just, is it going to be fun to everybody? Is it going to be fun to you? I don't know. I hope you enjoy the game. But yeah, thanks for watching. Check out some of the other stuff on the channel. Some of it's good, some of it's not. That's not for me to decide. But yeah, you have a good one.